Shalom Aleichem. This is a class on teachings of Rebbe Nachman of Breslov. My name is Rabbi Akimian, located in Great Neck, New York. There's a tradition that I've heard that from the Holy Baal Shem Tov, that before one learns, it is very good to open one's heart to sing a Jewish melody, a Hasidic melody. Often the songs that are sung by the Hasidim do not have words. At least they used to more often sing songs that don't have words. And through the singing, it almost becomes like a prayer that can open one's heart to the teachings that are going to be learned. So there's a tune from famous Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach that goes like this. Okay, so B'ezrat Hashem, we're going to be starting learning this famous sefer that's known as Mashivat Nafesh. In English, it is translated as Restore My Soul. There is an edition that is done that is translated by Rabbi Avraham Greenbaum, and he has done a remarkable work in translating this sefer. These are teachings that are from Rebbe Nachman and Rebbe Natan, his student in Breslov. And it's really teachings that can give us insights in how to focus our neshamot in such a world with turmoil and distractions. It will add a little pizzazz to shir. Speaking about distractions, B'ezrat Hashem, hopefully it'll add a little glitter. It says over here in section number Nun Hey 55. It says, Misha mistakel al shoresh v'atachlit, somebody that looks and gazes on the shoresh, on the root, and the tachlit, shehu etzem ha'emet, which is truth. We all are searching to find the roots of all of creation that we can connect to, and that roots of creation, of the connection, the focal point that runs through everything, it is ha'emet, it is the truth, Shehu Habore Yitbarach, which is that the Master of the universe has created everything. He has created the whole universe. Yesh me'ayin, something from nothing. Hashem created the world as we know it from nothingness. He brought from nothingness Yesh. He brought somethingness. Ve'elav heim shavim lalechet, and we are all looking to return back, to come back to that source of our root, which is Habor Yitzbarach Shemo, the Master of the universe. Lachzor ulikalel bo, in order that we can return and to become united, to become included, besofam be'et chidush ha'olam, that we can once again become included as that moment in creation when everything was one. Misha mistakel al zeh, somebody that looks and has such a focus in this world, somebody that is constantly living his life with the goal in mind. Bevadai ein l'shum sheker achiza bo, such a person that is living with such a focus, that he is focused on the Master of the Universe, there will be no aspect of falsehood that can attach itself to this individual. And he goes further to say, "We call mine ra v'tuma v'sheker," and all types of evil that exists, and impurity and falsehood, yachol lachazor la'emet v'la'kedusha shu Hashem yitzbarach. One can turn that and bring that, and one should know that it can come close to the truth and to holiness, no matter what type of evil or falsehood that one is facing. Why can all falsehood and all evil in the world return somehow to Hashem? Such a person that is faced with different trials, with different tests in this world, when he's looking at evil in the face, such a person can return, and despite the obstacle, to come close to Kadosh Baruch Hu. How and why? Is because that this person has this knowledge embedded within his soul, that no matter where he is, no matter in any makom, he says, b'chol makom nimtza b'chol makom tamid, he can find Hashem Yitzbarach. The Bechinat, as it says in Tehillim, the pasuk by King David, he said, "Im esek shamayim sham ata," that if I ascend into the heavens, behold, you are there. Va'atzia sha'ol hineka, and even if I go to the pit of hell, if I go to the lowest depths, behold, you are there too. Gam choshech lo yachshich mimeka, and darkness will not remain dark before you. So King David is referring, David HaMelech is referring to Hashem. V'al kain, therefore, Rabbi Nathan says, somebody that is ma'amin, somebody that believes in this, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with him constantly, no matter what, b'vadai ein shum choshech v'sheker v'ra v'tuma ba'olam. Therefore, a person won't be affected by the darkness and the falsehood of this world. Because potentially we see many people are drawn away from Hashem and the sweetness of the Torah. Somehow it grabs people and it takes them away. The falsehood of this world, of the pursuit of livelihood, of the pursuit of honor, of the pursuit of materialism, how one looks and how one is placed in society, one can make a mistake that this is the purpose of existence, just being in this world. It's a remarkable thing. But Rabbi Natan is saying that if a person has a focus and he knows why he's here in this world, and he realizes that everything has to be ultimately directed towards HaKadosh Baruch Hu, then Rabbi Natan says, then any evil that exists in the world will not have power, will not be able to control you or influence you in any way whatsoever. This knowledge is the most precious knowledge, to know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is with me, no matter what. And I'm going to hold that precious in my life and dear, and hold that as the most vital essence in my existence. He says that nothing will be able to draw somebody away from Hashem, which is the essence of truth. Nothing will be able to draw you away from Hashem or any of the true righteous tzaddikim that exists, because it is all part of that same goal. And whatever the Yetzer Hara, the Satan, tries to do, which can be manifest in many different ways, which can be manifest in sometimes the way we think. It could come from the realm of ego, it could come from the realm of the side of impurity within us. But if a person is focused on the truth and is constantly with that awareness that Hashem is with me no matter what, I believe that I can call out to Hashem, that I can hold on to Hashem, he says then no evil would have any type of dominion over you. And whatever that the Yetzer Hara, the evil inclination, tries to do with all of its lies and all of its tricks to take you away from truth, just the opposite, you will come close to truth. Yoter v'yoter, Rebbe Nachman says. How much more so will you come close to truth? Al yidei zeh daika, through this knowledge, because then it becomes all these forces that is pushing one away from truth. He re-energizes himself. A person can use this as like a springboard to come closer to Hashem. There's a concept that's known as Yerida Letzorach Aliyah, a descent in order for the ascent. Ki shoresh achizat hasheker, because you should know, how does this work? How could it be that once I'm faced with falsehood, that I can use that now to come closer to the Master of the Universe? I can use that to come closer to truth? How could that be? Because it says you have to realize that the root of falsehood is also from the aspect of the initial goal, the initial tachlit. It all comes from there. How could that be? Because it says over there, when it comes to the initial point of creation, when everything was rooted in one, it says that in that place there is such a unity that everything is one, nothing is separate. So it is very applicable to say that gold is really silver and silver is really gold, because in that place of divine oneness, everything is one anyway. So he says that from there we see that from that in itself, that a person, he humbles himself. And when a Jew can focus and look at that initial point of creation, which is the oneness, which is the purpose of everything, the master of the universe, then he says, then the falsehood drops on its own and it becomes obliterated. And he can then be zoche, he can use that experience to come closer to the master of the universe. Because even falsehood has an aspect, has that little spark of light of truth. What is that spark of light of truth? Like we just said, that everything is rooted in that one. So therefore, it's very applicable to say that this is what it's not. Because it's all really one anyway. How do you get rid of the falsehood? How do you put it away that it shouldn't have any control on you whatsoever? Is that you give yourself over to nothing but truth. To the ultimate truth, which is the focal point of creation, which is the oneness, the unity, where everything started from, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu himself. So that means when you're saying Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Hashem Echad, you're completely negating yourself to the Master of the universe. It can be done in such a powerful way that no forces of impurity can have any control on you whatsoever. We can use these tools. You should know Rebbe Nachman of Breslov said that every Jew should try to speak to Hashem, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in his own words every day, to set a certain time. Whatever you can start with, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. If you can do a half hour, you can do an hour. It's ideal. But to talk to Hashem in your own words, clear your mind, and to focus a little bit on what the purpose of existence is, and to talk to Hashem about how you feel. If you feel close to Him, you feel far from Him. To make your own prayers, just like King David did. David HaMelech, the whole book of Tehillim is composed of these wonderful prayers that came from the heart of King David. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem, also wants to hear our own prayers. He wants to hear our book of Tehillim. These are tools in how one can use to come to that focal point of focusing on the initial point of creation, which is focusing on the Master of the universe, and by that all of the impurity can be removed from the world. Hashem should help us, Hashem. We should grow every day in holiness and kedusha, happiness, health, and prosperity. Hashem, all the best.